Welcome to According to Star, the blog term podcast. I am your lovely, beautiful, melanin queen, Star. All right, so yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I hope everyone got everything their hearts desired. I hope that you guys, single or not single, just took the day to enjoy, and hopefully didn't read any of the horrible memes that were floating around of the single bitter people in the world, or the ones who are in love who claim my Valentine's Day is every single day. Who freaking cares? Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and just leave it at that. Like, we don't need to hear your every day is Valentine's Day spiel. We hear it every year. It doesn't matter. Just post your picture kissing and with your gifts and just, keep it moving. And that's it. That's it. Come on, guys. Gather around.
The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious.
All right, guys, gather around. This is where I'm going to talk about what's happening, what's trending, what I came across that I feel like I need to talk about pretty much. So, of course, I told you guys last episode, I'm always going to bring it in with the sad and depressing and take it out on a lighter note. But for me bringing in this gather around session, we have once again another tragedy at a school, a place where we think our kids are supposed to be safe, where we don't expect our kid not to come home. Something happened to them. There was a shooting at a Florida school. The shooter was an ex-student. He had an AR-15 with multiple magazines, and word is that he was expelled from the school for disciplinary actions. Last I heard, the amount of students that lost their lives was 17, which is super, super sad. No parent wants to send their kid to school and then, get that terrible phone call that something has happened to them. School is just like no longer a safe place. Like, you just never know what's going on, and these parents think, oh, they're sending their kids to the best schools, it's safe, it's not in a bad neighborhood. But it tends to be that most of these schools that these tragedies happen to are those great schools, the best schools in the town, and in those suburban areas, things like that, these tragedies take place. And it sounds like you might need to send your kids to the school in the hood, because this is not happening there. Not saying it's never happened, but it's 9 times out of 10 always, the primarily Caucasian schools in suburban areas that this is taking place. And it's really, really sad. And my heart goes out to the parents of the victims, and the friends of the victims, and the teachers of the victims, and just a very, very sad day. And it's definitely going to affect all those kids for the rest of their lives. It's sad, and hopefully they all get some counseling. President Cheeto Puff, he tweeted out about 2 meaningless tweets in regards to the situation. He's supposed to provide aid to the families, and I just wish them peace at this terrible, terrible time. I couldn't imagine if my kid was taken away from me. I would no longer want to live myself. So my heart definitely goes out to them, and I'm glad they caught the shooter, and justice should be served. He deserves life, death penalty, whatever you can do. Just do what you got to do. Keep him where he is. So not going into much lighter after that incident. We were just talking about kids, and then we have someone who allegedly likes to deal with kids, and that's Mr. Robert Kelly. There is a movement called #MuteRKelly, where there are some celebrity women and other women around that are pretty much boycotting him and saying it needs to be stopped. He's just like Harvey Weinstein. Yet he keeps, being able to tour, and people are still fans of his and buying his music and what have you. I don't know how to feel about this. I never really believed the sex tape that came out ages ago. I was like, no face, no case. Because, anybody back then in that time were getting, braids to the back like R. Kelly. So I really don't, I didn't see his face. So I can't say that was him doing whatever in that video. I do not condone pedophilia by far. And I feel like at the point with that, just the sex video and, the rumors, I thought that maybe it was just, he didn't do it. It's allegedly, blah, blah, blah. But then with the recent things coming out about him pretty much having like a sex slave house and what have you with younger girls, some that were brought to his house as young as 17, I started to think, these stories sound a little bit more believable. I don't know how to feel. And it's like, how do you separate the artist, the talent, from the human being? Because honestly, I think that they are separate. I wouldn't call it a sickness per se, but something's wrong with him where he likes younger females, allegedly still. But I think it's definitely like a mental issue. Like, it should be nothing attractive about a child. Like, it should just not get you off. That's ridiculous. But he is definitely a talented man, and I feel like I cannot just get rid of his whole body of work because of this. Call it what you want, say what you want. I don't care. That was a talented man. Listen to him as a kid. My mom, he's like one of my mom's favorites. And she blasted him all day, every day. I can sing every single R. Kelly song from start to finish. Like, it was that serious in my household. He cannot be erased from my memory. I cannot support him going forward, but those old songs back in the 90s and like the early 2000s, I'm gonna have to keep them with me going forward. No, I would never go to a concert. I would not buy a new album, listen to a song that he's featured on, probably. Which I heard him and Lil Kim are working together. Going forward, no, but I'm not gonna sit here and, say I can't support this man at all, not even listen to the old school jams. Like, Jesus Christ, you're asking for a lot here. Just like Monique with the boycott of Netflix, you're asking for a lot to get rid of R. Kelly, Bump and Grind, Remind Me, like 12 Play, Half on the Baby. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I can't. Step in the Name of Love, no. Nope. Going forward, nope. I don't care about nothing he's saying, but I'm keeping all that stuff with me. Call it what you want. I'm keeping it with me. Yes, I have a daughter. I don't condone it. But that man was talented, just like Chris Brown. I don't condone beating women, but Chris Brown is talented, and I love his music, and I'm going to support. That's just what I'm going to do. That's it. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so off of the horrible things, the things, and on to something so much lighter. And if anybody knows me, they know that I am all for human kindness. Like, I love seeing people do nice things for people who are deserving, who, they do everything that they can to, be a productive citizen of the world, and they try their hardest, and yet for some reason they just can't get on top of the game. It's so nice to see people, see that in someone and want to help them. So there was an Arkansas man who he used to walk 11 miles to work every single day. He's a single father. He did not have a car. When he got the job, they asked him about transportation, and he pretty much said, I'm banking on my feet. I'm going to get there on my feet. One of his coworkers, she didn't know that, he was walking every single day. And when she found out, she was a little upset about it, the whole, why you didn't tell me, type of thing. He's saying he's doing what he has to do to take care of his kid. He has to be to work at 4 a.m. He has to figure it out. So she let the rest of the staff know that, he didn't have a car. He was walking 11 miles every single day to work to get there by 4 a.m. So imagine what time he had to leave his home, like in the middle of the night, like legit in the middle of the night. So she told everyone, and they raised the money and contacted someone who was going to sell it to them, and they could pay cash. They let the person know what they were doing it for, and that person worked with them on the price, and they raised $2,000 and got him a good old 2006. I think it was a Saturn Ion, which is awesome. And they said the first thing that he did was he went to go pick up his daughter for dinner. And I think that's sweet. I think that was very nice of them to do that for him. It's always great to give what you can. They didn't have to do that, and they did that for him. And I think that that's amazing. And shout out to those people in Arkansas. salute you guys. That was freaking awesome. I almost shed a tear when I was reading that story. Just wonderful. Just wonderful. All right. So that ends our gather around segment. Thank you guys for listening to that. And let's get on to the main topic. All right. So our main topic today is going to be something along the lines of don't continue the cycle. And this is in regards to kids. Little do we know our kids are watching, so we definitely have to be conscious of what we do and the kind of lifestyle that we live, because whether we have these conversations with our kids or not, they're smart. Like, I was so surprised talking to my daughter today, and the things that she knew and the things that my son knew, and these are things that we don't talk about. As far as me and their dad, we don't talk about to our kids. So to hear them having this general conversation, and then I start asking questions and getting answers, I'm like, oh goodness. So they're definitely paying attention more than we think to things that we don't think that they're paying attention to. As far as like the type of relationship that their dad and I have, I see that they are actually paying attention to that. So my daughter definitely inspired this main topic today with her and her shenanigans. So we were, sitting at the kitchen table, and they're taking out their homework papers, doing their normal after school thing. And it's Valentine's Day, so they're taking out their Valentines from their classmates and things. And my son's telling Brielle, when you grow up, you're going to marry a man. And then she's like, when you grow up, you're going to marry a girl. And all this other thing. They're just having that little back and forth conversation. And then Brielle was like, actually, I'm not getting married. I'm just going to stay boyfriend and girlfriend. And I'm like, what? Why? She was like, I don't want to get married. I just want to stay boyfriend and girlfriend. I said, why don't you want to get married? And she says, well, you didn't get married. And I was like, okay, that doesn't mean that you can't, find a man that wants to marry you, like you, or someone that you want to marry. Well, you should get married one day. And she's like, I don't know. I don't think so. I might just find someone on, I might find my boyfriend on Facebook or blackpeoplemeet.com. And I'm like, girl, what do you even know about blackpeoplemeet.com? Of course, she sees a commercial, but she said she does not want to get married because I didn't get married. She wants to stay boyfriend and girlfriend. That is not something I even knew that she grasped the concept of. That's something that I have talked about to her. And then for her to say, well, you didn't get married. So it lets me know like that she's looking at me and she's watching me and she's trying to do exactly as I do. And she's right. I'm not married. I didn't marry her dad. So how do we not keep the cycle going? Because her and her dad and I mean, we discussed marriage, but it was never something that we really took serious. We felt like we were perfectly fine how we were. Like we didn't really, there was a point where I was, wanting to be married, especially before I had my daughter and, after and things like that. But after a while, it just became like, okay, what's really going to be the difference here? Besides the fact you're just showing that you're 100% committed to me type of thing. So yeah, kind of rubbed me the wrong way when she said that she's not getting married because I didn't get married. My son is saying that he's getting married. He's not saying that he's not at all. And then when my daughter's saying the whole Facebook thing that she's might gonna find a boyfriend on Facebook and I'm gonna message him that I like him. And I'm like, girl, please calm down. You're only 7. Calm down. And then my son's like, well, how did you find dad? And I was like, on Facebook. He messaged me on Facebook. So I'm pretty sure they heard me tell that story before, which is probably where my daughter got that whole Facebook thing from. But no, I want my kids to want to be married and not to really strive to be married, but be okay with getting married and not be okay with just staying someone and being like a life partner, so to speak. Our kids are definitely watching. We not only have to be careful in terms of the relationship that they see that you have with their parent or as their parent, if you're co-parenting, you also just have to be conscious of, how you carry yourself, especially women with not just daughters, because people like to say, oh, you have daughters when a woman is, half naked on the internet or what have you. No, you have to be classy and hold yourself to a higher esteem for your daughter and your son, because I know half of these pictures these women take out here, they don't want their son bringing the same type of girl home. So you have to be a role model for your daughter and your son, because they are watching. So if you're out here thotting and bopping, 9 times out of 10, your son's gonna bring home some little thought bopper. Like, that's just probably what's gonna happen, because they don't see any different from you. They see you tooting your ass up in the camera on to post it on Instagram. They see those things. They see you, whether you know it or not. They see you. So just always be conscious in everything that you do that your kids are watching, even like the things that you post on social media, not just pictures, just like the statuses that you post. These things are there forever and ever. You don't ever want your kid to Google your name and find you posting some weird stuff that you hope their dad gets killed, or you saying terrible things about their parent, and or you're doing terrible things, or you're fighting back and forth on the internet with people, and you're being an internet bully. Like, these things are always going to be out there. Be conscious of that. Like, don't do any of the things that you would tell your kid not to do. Like, definitely, it's practice what you preach, lead by example, for sure. But that doesn't mean like be a prude either. Like, some people, in terms of mothers, some people feel like, oh, I'm a mom, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't be sexy. It's totally okay to be sexy. It's totally okay. Just don't compromise your morals to do it. Do what you're comfortable with. If you knew it was an uncomfortable situation, then you don't need to be doing it. If you're comfortable with the situation, I don't see a problem with you being sexy. I mean, just because you're a mom doesn't mean you have to dress like Mother Teresa, freaking turtleneck dress from your neck to the freaking your toes. Like, it's okay to be sexy, but also still be conscious that your kid is watching. Let it be sexy in a way that you can explain it to your child if they see it, in a way that they understand and know that you're not out here just being nasty, because kids see it as nasty. Our kids are watching. Gotta be conscious of that. Like, I cannot express that enough. Like, the things you don't even think that they see. Like, with my son, I noticed that when me and his father was together, like, they didn't see us love each other. Like, we loved each other, but we did not show affection. We didn't hug, we didn't kiss, we didn't do any of those things. So whenever they would see it, which would be once in the blue moon, they were uncomfortable by it. Not just because they're kids and like, oh, my mom and dad's kissing, but it was kind of strange to them because they're not used to seeing it. And I never want my kids to think that affection between two people that love each other is something that's not normal, because it's certainly normal and it should happen. And they should see that, because that way they can know how to love or be affectionate to their partners when they get older. Super duper important, like very important to let your kids see love in the household. Too many times people just stay. There's no love in the household, rubs off on the kids grow up, the cycle continues. I don't care what type of person you are. Everybody wants to be loved a certain way, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental. Everybody wants to be loved a certain way, and kids should always definitely see that and also be comfortable expressing their own feelings and showing their own love, and being in tune with their own emotions. That those things should never be stifled at all. Like, we tell boys don't cry, and especially dads. I think moms are a little more lenient with it, but dads, if you're always playing this tough role with your sons, like, they're gonna carry on that same tough role. And with my son and his dad definitely has this tough role about him, and my son is very emotional and he's very affectionate, and he like loves on me all the time. And he sees, like, if he sees his dad is watching or something like that, then he tries to straighten it up as if it's not okay. Like, that's not cool. Like, I want to allow my son to express his emotions, to be sensitive, to be vulnerable. These are all emotions that everyone has, and they should never like have to be bottled up. And for dads also, I mean, yeah, teach your son to be macho, okay, whatever. But in certain instances, like, every instance doesn't have to be you going hard. It's the life. Like, you can show your son, like, it's okay if you need to cry, especially as a kid. Like, kids are emotional. Like, kids are so emotional. You have to allow them to let it out. It's okay. Little boys are going to experiment with girl things, especially if they have a sister, it's okay. Explain to them, like, hey, this is for girls, blah, 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 whatever. Although we don't do that to girls, but we kind of let them play with boy toys type of thing. But that's another episode. But we just have to be conscious of how we are, how we're portraying ourselves, and in relation to our kids. We have to be the type of person that we want them to grow up to be. And that's in all aspects, not just in terms of going to school, getting a career, like in terms of just who you are as a human being, who you are as being emotionally in tune, who you are as being someone's partner, someone's father, someone's mother. Like, we just always just be conscious, have that little angel on your side that's your kid, and just always think about, like, how would I feel if my son did this or my daughter did this? How would I feel if they said this or said that? How would I feel if they saw me doing this or what have you? How do I want them? What type of person do I want them to be? And that's the type of parent I need to be to them, to help them achieve being a well-rounded person in this world who is in tune with their emotions, who can sympathize, who can empathize, and all of that. We have way too many go hard men in this world who can't even get it right when it comes to a relationship, because they, for some reason, so prideful, so scared of what somebody's going to think of them, where they can't even be vulnerable with their own children, let alone their significant other. Kind of tone it down a little bit. Kids is watching or whatever. But that's pretty much my piece on that. Like, don't continue the cycle. Like, if you grew up in a household where there was no love shown, try not to have that for your kids. Like, try to, let them see what love should really look like. Love looks different to everyone, but love should definitely, you should see it. You should know it's there. And that's all I can rant for days and days and hours and weeks and months about that. But yeah, our kids are watching, and let's be the best that we can be so that they can be the best that they can be for themselves, for other people. And that's my piece. Let's get ready to take out some trash.
Sweet, sweet trash.
All right, let's take out some trash today. All right, so my trash on this episode goes to an Oklahoma mother who is sentenced to 25 years for molesting her 16-month-old daughter and sending the videos to her boyfriend, not her child's father, but some new boyfriend that she had. I was scrolling through Baller Alert as I normally do, and I found this post, and I was totally disgusted. It says an Oklahoma mother sentenced to 25 years in prison for recording herself molesting her toddler and sending them to her boyfriend. So 25 years behind bars is what a Tulsa mother will be serving after she molested her 16-month-old daughter, recorded it, and sent footage to her boyfriend. So police arrested her after her daughter's father reported her to the police. The toddler's dad was borrowing, her name is Jerica Ann Renee Tihilaki. Why is her name so long? I don't know. But the toddler's dad was borrowing her phone and opened her Kick app. I don't know any 30-year-olds who have Kick. But anyway, to find nude images and videos of the child being molested. So according to investigators, the mother admitted she had been sending videos of her molesting her daughter to her boyfriend, who she met online and only knew for a couple months. Lord. And she said she did it because if she hadn't, her boyfriend would become upset and punish her. Oh, Lord Jesus. Clearly, that punishment you were more scared of than going to jail for 25 years. And what in the world? Like, who does that to their own child? Like, I swear on everything, some women should not have been given reproductive organs. Like, you don't deserve to be a mother. Like, you have no nurturing bone in your body to freaking molest your own child, some being that you carried in you. Like, how could you ever? Like, I barely want to beat my kid. Like, how could you sit there and molest your kid? Like, oh God, why? Sometimes I question why, people like this, like, You shouldn't be allowed to have kids. Like, it's freaking terrible. And there's people out in this world who can't even, have any kids without, science to help them. And you have people like this that can easily reproduce and doesn't even know how to treat the child, has no nurturing bone in their body. So, Miss, whatever the hell your name is, you're freaking trash for doing that, and they should put you up under the jail. Should give you the freaking death sentence, and I hope someone rapes you while you're in jail. It's ridiculous. Ugh, God, just trash.
Petty doesn't have an expiration date.
You better talk to her before I do, because I'm hurt her feelings. That's
All right, let's get up in this petty corner real quick, real fast. Since today is the day after Valentine's Day, want to get my little petty bag real quick, because we know we always see day after Valentine's Day, National Sidechicks Day is February 15th. Well, those names should be obsolete because side chicks don't care anymore. Like about 10 years ago, then maybe okay. Yeah. Okay, cool, funny, haha. But now side chicks don't care. They're happy to get the day after Valentine's Day. They don't care as long as they're getting something. They don't care. It's not bad mouthing them. These are proud side chicks in 2018. They don't care that they come second. They like coming second, actually. They don't have all the duties of the main chick. So they're actually pretty okay with it, and they're not in hiding anymore. So we can get rid of National Side Chicks Day. They don't. It's not a joke to them anymore. It's normal shit. So yeah, and I'm gonna see about 50,000 of those today. So I'm not looking forward to that. So yeah, that's my little petty piece. Side chicks are proud to be side chicks. They would love to be second. They don't want to be the main one. It's perfectly fine. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this shit up. Find me on social media. That's Twitter and Instagram at According to Star. And you go to my website, www.accordingthenumber2star.com. Thank you guys for listening. I love you all. Bye.